Summary of First Things First. To live, to love, to learn, to leave a legacy. By Stephen R. Covey, A. Roger Merrill and Rebecca R. Merrill. The Clock and the Compass. Traditional time management focuses on to-do lists and prioritizing tasks, calendars and appointment books, or planning, prioritizing and controlling, with short, medium and long-term goals in mind. This book presents a principle-centered approach to time management. Traditional time management suggests that if you do things more efficiently, you will get control of your life and find peace and fulfillment. This notion is wrong. We cannot control everything, so it is pointless to base our happiness on our ability to control. We are not in control of our lives, universal laws or principles are. The struggle to put first things first can be summarized by the difference between the clock and the compass. The clock symbolizes how we manage our time, appointments, schedules, and goals. The compass symbolizes vision, values, principles, and conscience. It represents what we feel is important and how we lead our lives. Problems arise when there's a gap between the clock and the compass, when our activities don't add to what we feel is important in life. For most people, there is still a gap between what's important to them and how they spend their time. Part of the problem is that time management focuses on control. But control is an illusion. We only control our choices, not the results of those choices. Efficiency is another fallacy. It assumes that more and faster are better. The factors that drive our choices about time are urgency and importance. Many people are addicted to urgency. They are constantly dealing with one crisis or another and avoid what is really important. We can divide the way we spend our time into 4 quadrants based on these 2 dimensions. Quadrant I, both urgent and important, is where we handle pressing, vital problems. We must spend time in Quadrant I activities. Quadrant II, important but not urgent, is the quadrant of quality, where we do long-term planning, empower ourselves and others, broaden our minds and increase our skills. Quadrant III, urgent but not important, is the quadrant of deception. These are distractions and interruptions. Quadrant IV, neither urgent nor important, is the quadrant of waste. These are mindless activities and trivial escapes. When we put first things first, we live in quadrants 1 and 2, staying out of 3 and 4. Therefore, look for more quadrant 2 time by cutting down on quadrant 3 time. Understanding what is truly important means accepting that there are 4 basic human needs: to live, to love, to learn, and to leave a legacy. These correspond to physical, social, mental, and spiritual well-being. Any of these needs, unmet, can sap your energy and attention or drive you to urgency addiction. We tend to see these 4 needs as separate. In fact, they overlap. When we meet one need, it helps us in all areas. Once we understand that these needs are interrelated, we realize that when one need is unmet, we must address, not ignore, the other 3 needs. To meet these needs and get quality of life results, we must pursue our needs according to principles. Keep the main thing the main thing. We can understand how external realities govern our lives by considering the law of the farm. In agriculture, there are no quick fixes. Natural laws and principles determine the harvest. There are no shortcuts. Similarly, there are no shortcuts to integrity, courage, compassion, or character. Good health and economic security grow over time from effort. In relationships, we must earn respect and affection. Spiritual well-being springs from reaching out to help others. When we learn that principles exist beyond us, we get a sense of humility. This is the wellspring of all virtues. We have 4 endowments for fulfilling these principles: self-awareness, conscience, independent will, and creative imagination. Keep a personal journal to build self-awareness. Read the wisdom literature of the ages, observe others, meditate and learn from experience to build conscience. Make and keep promises to nurture independent will. Use visualization to build creative imagination. To plan your week ahead, focus on the following. 1. Connect with your vision and mission. Consider what is important in your life. What do you want to do or be? Many people capture these answers in a personal mission statement. Once you know the answers, schedule activities that align with your purpose. 2. Identify your roles. Roles mean responsibilities, relationships, and areas of contribution. List roles like individual or personal development, husband or father, manager or new products, or charity chairman. Keep the number to 7 or fewer, that's all most people can manage at once. Natural roles grow out of your mission. After writing down your roles, add a special role called Sharpen the Saw, which includes the things that keep you sharp, physically, socially, mentally and spiritually. 3. Select Quadrant 2 goals in each role. Ask yourself what you can do this week to have the greatest positive impact in each role. 4. Create a decision-making framework for the week. Specific appointments usually work best. Make appointments with yourself for planning. If they need to be moved, reschedule them immediately. Treat yourself just as you would someone else. After Quadrant 2 goals are in place, fill in the rest of the schedule with activities from the other quadrants. 5. Exercise integrity in the moment. Translate your mission to action with peace and confidence. Preview your day, prioritize. Choose the most important use of your time, not just the most urgent. Remember that our roles are not entirely separate. What we do in one role affects the others. Don't compartmentalize your life. Look for synergy among roles. Find ways to enhance one role by doing another at the same time. Remember that every role uses all 4 endowments. By working this way, you will build balance in your life. Set goals in accordance with your mission. Use your conscience and independent will. Get clear on what you want to do, why and how. A principle-based goal means trying to do the right thing, for the right reason, in the right way. Make commitments and be sure to keep them. Keeping commitments builds integrity and self-esteem, but failing to keep commitments eats away at them. Plan weekly. Daily planning narrows your focus. To look only at the big picture diverts us away from specific actions. The weekly plan links urgency with importance and current activities with long-term goals. Create time zones. Block off time regularly set aside for specific important activities. Include time to prepare. The synergy of interdependence. In principle-centered planning, we accept that we are interdependent. But this kind of interdependence is not transactional. It is not a matter of just delegating to people or treating them as interruptions. Principle-centered planning is transformational. It changes all, bringing richness, adventure, spontaneity and fulfillment into life. In contrast, as we live independently, we rush through life, leaving a token legacy. We accomplish little that is truly important. When we accept being interdependent, we learn several lessons. 1. All public behavior is ultimately private behavior. We must react to problems as they arise. When we react from principle, not urgency, the results benefit society as a whole, not just ourselves. 2. Life is one indivisible whole. Our behavior in each area of life affects all others. 3. Trust grows out of trustworthiness. Trustworthiness demands both character and competence. Neither is enough without the other. Character includes integrity, maturity, and an optimistic abundance mentality. Competence includes technical competence, conceptual competence, the ability to see the big picture, and interdependent competence, the ability to work with others and to find win-win solutions. By accepting interdependence, we redefine importance, prevent crises by building relationships, and clarify expectations up front. The synergy of transformational interdependence is scary and the results are uncertain. When you go into it, you won't know how it will turn out. The 4 endowments are therefore the key to successful synergy. Conscience leads to collective conscience. Independent will leads to interdependent will, which forms win-win situations. Think win-win. Remember that winning means achieving your goals. Nobody has to lose. To find win-win situations, seek first to understand, then to be understood, then synergize. Even when people disagree, there are usually ways to find a win-win situation. Even when there are profound disagreements, there are ways to find common ground by empathizing with the other side. When in a leadership role, look for ways to become a leader, a servant, whose mission is to empower others, to build character and competence in them. If you find yourself in a work environment where your boss won't empower you, look to apply win-win principles yourself. Over time, you can almost always change people's attitudes about you and your job. At the organizational level, we can create shared mission statements. These need 4 conditions: 1, enough people; 2, who are fully informed; 3, and are interacting freely and synergistically; 4, in an environment of high trust. Empowering organizational mission statements aren't handed down from on high. They come from the bowels of the organization. They include vision and principle-based values. They address all 4 needs and endowments. The peace and power of principle-centered living. Principle-centered living moves us from time management to personal leadership. Instead of just solving problems, we build people and synergistic relationships. We see opportunities which we missed before. We see the day differently. Tasks provide an opportunity for growth and improvement. We find peace as we live, love, learn and leave a legacy with balance and joy. We find peace in developing our endowments and gaining competence and character. We find peace as cooperation replaces competition and we become part of a synergistic, loving whole. Peace is found by learning to listen. Many of us expect to accomplish every goal every day. We see change as the enemy. But in principle-centered living, we surrender that expectation. We learn not to be frustrated by change or disagreements. Pride, in the sense of being prideful, is very dangerous. Pride in achievement is okay, but the pride of competitiveness, of being above the rest, is the enemy of peace. The antidote to pride is the humility to realize that we are not independent, and that meaning comes not from competition, but from contribution. There may be several turning points in our lives, but the most critical is when we decide to live by conscience, accepting that whatever the consequence, we will follow it. By making that decision, we create a lifestyle where we love consequences instead of fearing them. As a final question, ask yourself, is there something I feel I could do to make a difference? Remember, as Gandhi said, we must become the change we seek in the world. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, nothing can bring you peace but yourself. Nothing but can bring you peace but the triumph of principles.